to treat everyone with equal respect, to treat others as we would like to be treated. That's what we're told. But until very recently, gay and lesbian Australians have been legally discriminated against. Same-sex couples were denied basic entitlements like carers leave and compassionate leave from their employment, tax benefits and concessions, and social security allowances, to name a few.
Late last month, the federal government passed legislation giving greater recognition to same-sex couples and including them under the legal definition of a couple and a family. Travis Jonk is the Melbourne Editor of Same, a national gay and lesbian news and forum website, and he joins us this morning. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, guys.
How do you feel about this? What does it mean to you?
For me personally, I can say I could not possibly be more jubilant, but I think the whole community is exactly the same as well. It feels like we're living in this incredibly upside-down world, except it's all in our favour now, and in the best possible way, that we're all equal.
Exactly, and that's the point I think that needs to be made here. Gay and lesbian couples and transgender couples and everyone else under that umbrella have never asked for anything on top of what anybody else gets, what any straight couple would get.
And that's exactly it. It's not special rights for anything that anybody else isn't getting. But I mean, for so long, I think a lot of people would be really shocked. I know a lot of my straight friends who weren't aware of the issue, they sort of said, oh, we just assumed that, you have the same access to superannuation, health, health age care, that sort of stuff. And
that's right, there are a whole raft, wasn't there? Because the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission did a report, and they looked at the number of state and federal laws that were actively discriminating against gay and lesbian couples, and the results were shocking.
And when you say actively discriminating too, I think it's a little bit more subtle than that as well. Like it's just they weren't considered. It's like a tiny little change in the language is what it took to make people include our community.
And what was that change in the language? It's legal recognition of a couple and a family.
Absolutely. It's sort of redefining terms like de facto, parent, child, and what it means to be in those sorts of relationships.
Give us an example. As a man in a gay relationship, where was the discrimination that you noticed? And what situations could you have found yourself in?
I've come across some really horrible situations, just from real life situations, friends and that sort of thing. Particularly people who are in hospital and medical emergencies. A great example of, a lesbian mum, for example, her son breaks his leg and her partner's the only one who can go and visit her in hospital. How do you prove that relationship? Someone in a terminal situation as well, when you're talking about dealing with property. And let's face it, crappy things happen to everybody. When you're in a partnership, if you've got to split things, let's say you've been with someone 5 years, you own property together, you have kids together. If you're not written into law, how do you work those out? How do you access courts? How do you get any of that work out? So now this has sort of made things a lot more streamlined. And
is this the end, do you think, to discrimination against same-sex couples?
No, but I think it's a fantastic step forward. I think the most important step forward. Gays, lesbians, transgender people, we've never been more accepted and recognised than we are now. This is an amazing moment in history. There's still people who are like activists, I suppose, whose job it is to be eternally vigilant, who are crying out for more and all that sort of stuff, and power to them. I think it's very important. But the community is very happy in that. The next step is just sort of going, hey, look, the world hasn't exploded. Giving us more freedoms and our equal rights hasn't in any way infringed on your rights.
Yeah.
In fact, it's actually made it more equal for everybody, which is the message I think we're all here to say today.
What about the very vexed issue, and I know it's in the gay and lesbian community, there are those who believe it and those who don't, but the issue of same-sex marriage and the legalisation of that, where does that sit at the moment?
It's something I think that the whole community, regardless of whether you're for or against gay marriage for yourself, I think people just believe in the freedom that, if it's something that you want to do, people should be able to do it. There's the whole thing about, it is, at the end of the day, it's a legal document, but it is also a spiritual thing. I think people get those two things very mixed up. Personally, my belief is I don't really see how, two people of the same sex getting married in any way infringes or, demeans the actual act of marriage. It's still,
you're not affecting anybody else by doing it.
Exactly right.
In some states and territories now, Victoria, Tasmania, the ACT, they have this relationship register.
Yeah.
Does that go some way? What difference does that make?
Okay, look, I think, again, another great step forward. Go Victoria for finally getting it done. I think that's fantastic, and a lot of couples were there actually the other day registering. It's not marriage, and it's just a step towards the relationship being recognized. recognised. And so I think it's important to say that there's a distinction. It's not even a step towards marriage, but it is that kind of people who, for whom marriage isn't an option, or like, I guess, same-sex couples. It just means that their relationships and their families can actually officially be sort of put down on a piece of paper. So again, for those hospital situations, you know, like if a straight couple goes in, people don't sort of question it, but if it's the same-sex partner, now they have a bit of paper to sort of say, hey, you know.
I am legally recognised just like everybody else.
So what happens now? Do you expect there's a whole heap of bureaucratic red tape and tangle of that to go through, or is it just instant?
Well, you know, it's brought up a whole heap of issues. Now, the equality thing, of course,
The fairy wand has been waved.
it has been waved, and like everything else, you know, there's pluses and minuses. So, you know, some people are going to lose in terms of benefits and stuff, which they had before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think most people would agree on the whole, this is great. I think the whole community is just going, perfect timing, let's enjoy this moment, and let's get back to it again next year and sort of find it more. And
do we have enough out gay and lesbian couples with profile to help?
I think that's happening more and more now. It's also like a timing thing, but I mean, certainly when people were registering the other day, couples came out, you know, and people who've been wanting 20, 30 years to get married, you know, or they're not to get married, but to have that sort of formal recognition. Certainly people with families, I think there's a lot more people in the community now who have kids, and it's just a really wonderful moment for them. So I think people are coming out because they're realising that, you know, we're all human. We all have lives. We all just want to get on with it. You know, that's what it is at the end of the day.
So there are no restrictions to this legislation? No restrictions in terms of the length of a relationship you might have been in?
Look, I think it's similar rules to what currently applies to heterosexual couples. There's been a slight extension on them as well. So, you know, there's a lot more room to move for everybody. And that's the thing I guess I like, that the winner in this is everybody, it's not just gay and lesbian people.
What changed? Why do you think it happened now? Who drove this?
Well, I have to say 10 points to the Labor government. Labor's been promising a lot of things to our community for a long time, and it's shocking in a good way that it's all coming forward. And I just think these are important social changes that just really needed to happen. It's going to make Australia a better country to live in. It's going to make it better for its citizens, especially going through now what could possibly be a bad economic time. I think the importance of connections between people is definitely more important.
And speaking of those connections, most recently we know that has now been opened up in Victoria.
Yeah, and that was just a huge can of worms. That was another thing we didn't expect to totally win. It was very close. Very thrilled about it. I just think for people within our community, if you want to start a family, there are options there now. But also straight women as well.
Single women as well.
Yeah, and the fact that you know, marriage is not for everybody, and it's a good chance that those options and families can happen.
They've also introduced legislation allowing giving same-sex couples legal parenting rights. Now that's very great.
And access to the family court. Again, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you know, like, bad things happen, good things happen too, and it's really nice to know that, you know, I think, you know, a lot of people have been going, what about the children, what about children? It's like, this is a great move for the children, because it just means that they're seen now, you know.
And I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between having your case in the family court and in the standard court. I mean, you know, the magistrate's court is enormous because there are precedents in place, aren't there?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, this is where it's really great. It's just that there's a nice streamlined process. Everyone sort of feels like they're actually included. And I mean, for a long time, I think we've been living in this fantasy world of what actually Australian society looks like and it's made up of. You know, and just because we want it to be a certain way doesn't mean that that's the reality. And I think finally now we're looking at the real reality of what Australian life is.
It is great news. It's been a long time coming, I'm sure, for you.
Oh, so are we. And just got to say thank you. This is a wonderful moment. We're all very overjoyed. So.
Lovely to talk to you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you.
On Friday, astrologer Julie McBeth will be giving us her predictions for the year ahead, and there's plenty more to come back after this.